Shalawam, Shalawam. Once again, we are the Hebrew Israelites, right? Coming to you week in and week out, the people of the diaspora, right? The people who you sold into chattel slavery, right? Asking that the blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics of Negroid and Indian and Native and Seminole descent come back to the Bible, come back to the truth of that, the fact that they are the Hebrew Israelites, right? Come back to that key fact that you are the chosen people of the Most High God. And we're here to bid you back to the marriage, right? If you're not a so-called black, Native American, Hispanic, we're not out here for you. You can look, you can learn, right? But we're not out here sent to you. We're out here sent, once again, to the black, so-called black, Native American, and Hispanic, right? Of Native, Indian, Seminole descent, right? We're here to let you know you are the chosen people of the Most High God, of the diaspora. Amigo, you know you're a child of Israel? No? Then we get the book of Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 5. Let's bring that out first. I made a statement saying that we're out here for the blacks, Native Americans, and the Hispanics, right, of Negroid and Indian descent, the children of the Most High God, the children of Jacob, right, the children of Israel, right? We're here to bid you back to your book, to your Bible, to your laws, statutes, and commandments, right? The blood covenant you made on Mount Sinai with the Most High God and Moses, right? That same people we're bidding back. We'll ask you to wake up before these nukes hit, before Russia lays this place as a wasteland, right? And it's not going to be no more brunches, right? And vacations and turn-up parties. Because when Russia nukes America, there's not going to be no more D.C., L.A., New York, right? Bring that out.
This is the book of Isaiah 49, verse 5. And now saith the Lord that formed me from the womb to be his servant.
To be his what?
To be his servant.
So we're out here to be the servant of the Most High God, to bring his people back. Right? Go ahead.
To bring Jacob again to him.
To bring who?
To bring Jacob again to him.
To bring Jacob again to the Most High God. Young lady, you know you might be an Israelite. This your son?
My little brother.
This your little brother?
No, that's my son, yeah.
That's your son? Okay. You ever heard of the Israelites?
No.
You don't know what do you read the Bible?
No.
You go to church?
No.
You believe in God?
Yeah.
All right, so if you believe in God, you should know you're one of his people if your people come from the transatlantic slave trade. Do your people come from slavery? So-called slavery, or are they already over here? Are you a Native American?
Yeah. See, I don't know my history before that.
Native and maybe a little bit of so-called West African? You don't know? Let me show you something, just in case. To be the most, give me 5 minutes of your time. It's only going to take 5 minutes. And you and your son need to know this before all hell breaks loose in America or in the world. You need to know who your people are. Let me show you this sign. See this sign right here? Within this sign is a little area. It's called Ghana, and there's another area called Negro Land. Or more importantly, it's called the Kingdom of Judah, right? Slave Coast. So when the white man came to South Africa, he went to a kingdom called the Kingdom of Judah. And it was also called the Slave Coast by the map maker who designed this map. We went from here all over the world, right? And those were the chosen people of God. The people in America already, the so-called Native Americans, those were our brothers from the Northern Kingdom. So you had the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom. And because we couldn't get along, God put us in slavery. So you ever heard of the Crips and the Bloods?
Yeah.
It was Crips and Bloods back then, all the way back in the Bible. And we would fight, and God would get pissed, and he would put us into slavery. Right? Again and again and again. We went and built every major empire known to man. The Babylonians, the Persians and the Medes, the Romans, the Greeks. That was you. That was him. That was us. Right? The people today who call themselves Anglo-Saxons or Caucasians, they know that. This is why they did this to us. You ever heard of the lynchings, the burnings?
Yeah.
You heard of that in America, the slavery? They knew exactly who they was taking into slavery. They knew that we were the children of God and that they were allowed to punish us because we didn't follow God. Watch this. Give me Judith. I mean, 2 more minutes. Give me Judith, chapter 5, and I think it's verse 20 that I want. Right? So, any nation, when we're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, like how God taught us to keep, they can do this to us. They can make our children pick cotton. They can kill us and have crowds of people watching. Right? They can treat us unjustly in their court systems, in their school systems, in their hospitals, and nobody's going to do a damn thing about it. Right? Because we're cursed, because we don't love each other. Right? That hatred that black people have for each other extends more than just the hood. It extends throughout our entire life. Because we don't get along with each other, God allows this to happen. Right? Like President Joe Biden saying that our kids are cockroaches and we vote for him. All right? Or back in 1977, he said, oh, I don't want my kids to go to school with blacks because it's going to be a racial jungle. And we vote for him. Or maybe about the year that he got elected when he said, you're not black unless you vote for me. And we voted for him. That's being cursed. That's not being right in the head. Because if anybody else, a black person would have said that, or about white people, it would have been hell to them. Right? But he gets a pass because he says he's with Bill Clinton and he was Obama's running mate. So he can talk bad about black people and we'll love him for it. That's being cursed. Right? Read that.
This is the book of Judah, chapter 5, verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people.
So this is a guy talking to his boss, basically. I'm going to keep it simple. And he's talking about the children of Israel. And this is what he says about us. Go ahead.
If there be any error in this people.
So we be wrong at all. Go ahead.
And they sin against their God.
And we sin against the power of Yahweh. His name is Yahweh. Right? His son's name is Yahushua, not Jesus the Christ. Because we went against him. Go ahead.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
It's going to be our what?
Their ruin.
Go ahead.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Just like every nation did throughout history. Go ahead.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation.
But if there be no iniquity, they're keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. They're not hating their brother. Sisters ain't hating on sisters. Brothers ain't shooting brothers down in the street. Robbing, killing, and destroying each other. Selling poison to each other. What's going to happen?
Let my Lord now pass by.
Don't even deal with the people. Because why?
Lest their God defend them.
Unless their God does what?
Unless their God defend them.
That's why we went to slavery. That's why they were able to do this all over the world. Because we were fighting amongst each other, just like we do today. Right? We hate the hell out of them. Black people hate the hell out of black people. We don't even have to talk. We can just look. What the hell is this bitch looking at me for? What the hell is dumbass nigga looking at me for? Right? You don't have to say anything. Just a look. But the white man looks and is, oh, he must like me, or I should ask him for some money, or maybe I can get a job from that white man. No, it's no thought about evil, but they did the most evil to us. But we don't give them the side eye. We love white people, right? Essentially, because they shouldn't be allowed to walk up and down the street without getting a foot in their ass. And that's just righteousness. You did this to my grandmother, I should do it to you. Right? You shouldn't get a pass. You shouldn't be able to walk in the ghetto and select a black woman for the night. You should get your ass beat and jumped. Right? But we don't do that. We'll jump each other, we'll beat each other and shoot each other, but the white man and everybody else gets a pass. Go ahead.
Lest their God defend them.
Let their God defend them.
And their God be for them.
And God be for us.
And we become reproach before all the world.
And God makes that nation who comes against us a reproach. Means they have a bad name amongst everybody on earth. And that's just all because we didn't keep the commandments. See, for example, this guy right here, this is not Jesus Christ. But we look at him as the Jesus the Christ. Because why? White people said so. This was a homosexual. His name is Caesar Borgia. His father was the 6th Pope of Rome, Alex the 6th Borgia. Right? He was a pedophile. He molested children. This is who they pray to in their churches. Right? He raped his sister. He killed his brother-in-law to have sex with his sister. Michelangelo, his lover, painted him to be the Christ. This is not Christ. Right? This is an abominable man. This is a pedophile. This is a sex demon. But we want to make him the Lord Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ had woolly hair and dark brown skin. Right? You read that, and he was a Judite, just like if you're a so-called African American, you're from the tribe of Judah. Right? The same tribe Christ came from. Give me that. Deuteronomy 1 and 14. And then I'm going to let you go, sister. I think I got a flyer. You can check out more of this information. Right? We go into a lot of prophecy. Some science, some astrology, anthropology. So we're well versed and we know what we're talking about, and this is why we've been out here for 8-9 years, and no white scholars, because we beg for white scholars to come put us out of our misery every Sunday, and they haven't come up here to do so, because they know they can't refute the things we're saying. They know that, because we get the things we're saying as far as the proof that we're the real Jews from white people. Most white scholars will tell you that the blacks in America are the real biblical Jews, right? And they're not going to ever refute that, right? They might not like how we talk on these corners, but it's a fact. You raped, robbed, molested, murdered God's chosen people, and there's going to be a payment for that. Just like they never paid for slavery, they're going to pay. Most of my people are not going to like how they're going to have to pay for that, but that's just how they're going to have to fight against God. Right? Right? They're going to have to taste that nuclear. Because that's what's ultimately going to happen. They're going to get burnt with nuclear fire. And if you're not keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, and you don't believe in Yahweh Shah who came and died and sacrificed himself for you, you're going to be a part of those nukes. And he don't care if you're a little baby or a 100-year-old man. If you're not with him, you ain't for him, you're getting laid down with the rest of them. That's what the Bible I read says. Read that. Let's find out what Christ looks like. Yeah. What did I say? Revelations 1 and 14. I said Deuteronomy. Revelations 1 and 14. Let's find out what Christ looks like. And then I'm going to grab you a flyer, sister. If you have any questions, you feel free. If we're out here, you can ask us anything. Anything about the Bible, about archaeology, anthropology, science, or why we call the white man the devil. And we can prove it that the Bible says the white man's the devil. Read that, King.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So the Bible describes Christ as having woolly hair. You look at that word woolly, it's nappy. That's what woolly means. Woolly means coarse and nappy. Is this coarse and nappy? Or this is the same hair of golden retriever? Right, stringy hair. Like how we all want. You want white people hair because they beat this image into us. Have straight hair. Don't have nappy Christ-like hair, because if you don't have straight hair, we ain't hiring your black guys. If you don't have straight hair, you can't come into the store. If you don't have straight hair, I'm not picking you up for a date. Right? We want the straight hair, right, people? Read.
As white as snow.
Is this white? Is his hair white? No, it's yellow. It's brown. That's how white people hair get. Who on the earth has white hair? Who can have white hair besides the so-called white man? He can get white hair. So who else? You ever seen an old black man? What color is his hair? It's like a whitish gray, right? And it's nappy, isn't it? So that's describing white nappy hair. Go ahead.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Because he drank wine. Was an actual fire coming out of his eyes. But Christ drank a lot of wine because our people stressed him the hell out all the time. Healing people, saving people. We used to stress him out all the time. Son of David, heal me, heal me. All day, every day. You understand? Go ahead.
And his feet like the fine brass.
Is your feet the same color as your face? Last time you saw your feet? Right, but are they the same color as your body? Right? Same thing with your son? Yeah. Same thing with everybody that you know, right? You look at their feet, it's the same color as the rest of their body, right?
And his feet like unto fine brass.
What color is brass?
Red.
Yeah, what color? The brown, black, yellow, green. Brass is the same color as the picture. I don't want to confuse you. It's like a gold color, right? I'm going to show you. You got a smartphone?
Yeah.
Look up brass. Google, what does brass look like? Google, what does brass look like? Let me show you. So this is the color of brass. Like a goldish, right? It's the color of brass, y'all. Now, what happened to that brass?
And his feet like the color of fine brass.
Go down.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace.
If you put brass in the furnace, what color is it going to be?
Like a black one.
Like a black color. So, how do they describe Christ?
And his feet as if they burned in the furnace.
That's strike three. The Catholic Church don't get to go around the world and say this dirty white pedophile, child molester, murderer is the Christ. And they're going to have to pay for that. You're going to pay for that. Because you describe the Most High God's Son as a sick, twisted individual. And you told the Native Americans, if you don't bow down to this, we're going to burn you and your children at the stake. And that's what they did. That okay? Yeah, you're right. We're going to be on top one day. That's what the Bible says. It says that the Israelites are going to be back on top, ruling the earth. It ain't going to be no more Mr. Charlie O'Fay, pale-faced devil, red devil. It's not going to be him anymore. He's not going to run England, Scotland, France, Portugal, Spain, America, Australia, Africa. He's not going to run every single Greenland, right? Antarctica, wherever the hell he likes to dwell. He's not going to have full control over the Pacific Atlantic Islands, right? The West Indies. He's not going to control that. He's not going to tell France, you have to pay us back for not making you slaves. He's not going to be allowed to do that. What is he going to be allowed to do? When my king comes back, takes the crowns from all these different rulers and sets up the Israelites as the standard in the earth. The Israelite man, woman, and child is going to be looked at as the most beautiful creature on the earth because we're going to rule this place in righteousness. Right? We're not going to be butt-breaking men. Right? And molesting little kids. Right? And hanging people over fires and say, oh, let's roast some marshmallows while this nigga is burning. Right? That's not going to be our lot anymore. Right? Our daughters and our sons are going to come out the house looking decent. Well put together. Right? Not dressed in tight, revealing clothes anymore. They're not going to have to do that anymore. Right? What's going to be our lot when Christ comes back? Bring this out.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
No, he's going to have mercy on everybody on earth.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
God's going to have mercies on the black, Native American, Hispanics of Negroid and Indian descent. Seminole Indians, Brazilians, Puerto Ricans, Colombians. Right? You don't find these names in the Bible, but we've done our research to find out where the lost tribes of Israel are. And those places I named are but a few places where we're scattered. Right? If you're of native descent, more than likely you're an Israelite. Go ahead.
And will yet choose Israel.
And he's going to choose the Israelites, not everybody on earth. Right? So your Chinese, Japanese, Arab white friend ain't coming into God's kingdom without chains. Right? Without slave chains. Go ahead.
And set them in their own land.
And God's going to set us up in our own land. Go ahead, because we don't have nothing now. We don't have our own land. We have the white man's land. Right? And we love it so. And we love it so. We love not owning crap. We love being told where we can live, how much we got to pay. That's what we love as a people. We don't want to rule nothing. We want to be told. And if anybody speaks like me, nigga, shut up. I don't want to hear that crap. I want to enjoy my slavery in America. Go ahead.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
And all these other strange nations that you have to go to and your corner stores, some of our women got to sleep with these Arabs just to get Pampers for their children. Right? You get your damn K2 and your blunt and your cigarette from. Right? All that shit behind the counter you ain't even supposed to be looking at. And they got it for you day in and day night. 24 hours, 365. Right? The Chinese, the Japanese, the Arab, they got your smoked products. So you can kill yourself. Go ahead.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
And all these other nations are going to cleave to the house of Jacob. Why? Because we're going to possess them. Go ahead.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
And the people shall do what?
Take them and bring them to their place.
And we're going to take. And last time I checked, when you take something, that's not asking. I'm going to take this. Just like how the white man sailed his dusty, crusty behind to the west coast of Africa and took Africans. Right? Go ahead.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord. Last
time I checked, a possession is your property. I possess this plastic tube right here. My colleague, my brother, he possesses that cauldron. Bowl. I was gonna say bowl. Right? This is my horn. It belongs to me. I possess it. Right? Just like how his grandfather owned his grandfather. Right? And now they're cool and friends. Right? Because they go to the same military school together. Oh, that's my brother. I'll die for him. Right? I don't think goddamn so. Get your ass on the battlefield and watch that white boy flip on you quick. And put 2 in your back. Right? We're going to possess you nations. Right? Because you possessed us. Because you raped, robbed, subjugated, marginalized, and murdered us for hundreds and hundreds of years. God said it's only right we're going to possess you back. Right? And all you niggas that are rich as slaves, fine, cool. You can give them to me. You can give them to me. I know how to treat a slave. Especially a Caucasian one. Right? I know how to get down with them. You can give them to me. All you black folks that don't want a stomach having a slave, give them up to us, man. Right? We'll take your damn slaves. Go ahead.
For servants and handmaids.
No, for equal opportunists.
For servants and handmaids.
So we're going to possess them for what?
For servants and handmaids.
We're going to possess you other nations that took my ancient grandmother and grandfather into slavery. We're going to possess you. We're going to possess you for servants, and we're going to possess you for property, and we're going to possess you for handmaids. If I don't want to get up and get my goddamn slippers, I'm going to make my other slave get up and kick a slave that's asleep in the behind to go get my damn slippers. Right? You're going to work from sun up to sun up. And it's not going to be no rest for you. Right? Just like you did us. Right? You dig up some slave bones, they worked the slaves until their muscles came off the bone. Do you want to understand how painful that is and how unimaginable that is? You had to be torturing somebody to work that hard where their muscle detaches from the bone. You have to be under great torture. Your body would give out before the muscle detaches from the bone. That means people were fainting and they were beating them so hard until they got back up to keep working.
Unearthed actually a slave cemetery in New York City. It's on Wall Street, by the way, in the shadow of the bull. Unearthed a slave cemetery, and they still to this day they're struggling. They recently, have done a lot in terms of commemoration. I went to it took me everything to get to it. They had it blocked off so you couldn't get to it, but because they didn't want to deal with it. You can't just bulldoze a cemetery. So here in all these skyscrapers, in the middle of it is this little cemetery, and there's slaves in that cemetery. More important than that was what the bones told us, because now you got CSI. Hell, I can go in there and tell you what's going on now. So with the CSI thing, now they've discovered a little bit about the bones. And to me, the most phenomenal thing about the bones is what they told us about those people and how they live. Majority of the people in there were children, infants and children, high mortality, infant mortality rate. They even know what they died of. Died of malnutrition and starvation, because they could tell by the rotting of the teeth and the jawline. So even though they most likely grew food, they weren't allowed to eat it. And then they found something even more peculiar that speaks to this idea of why he believed we required less sleep. They would show a large frame man And they would find an injury where the muscle actually detached itself from the bone as a result of exertion and not injury. Stay with me. It detaches itself from the bone as a result of exertion. That means you worked so hard, the muscle detached itself from the bone. You don't see those kind of injuries in contemporary society because no one's going to work that hard. Unless, of course, you have a gun trained on you from sunrise to sunset. So we do have empirical evidence of how hard folks work.